first because they sacrificed the Poppy, so banning the Ahri was kind of a bit irrelevant. So I think OMG locked that one in for themselves. Means they denied that powerful bot lane from FPX, and they can kind of adjust from here. They do pick up the Aphelios once more, which has been a bit of a staple for Abel, especially when Samir is banned. And now FPX, they go immediately for Summit's Gnar, and then they grab the Akali as well for Care.
Care taking one of Creme's signature picks up against him here.
They both took each other's signature picks.
Yeah.
This is a trade.
We're flipping the matchup here. We're flipping the matchup. I will say the Ahri has been played by both a lot, right? Creme played a lot of the Ahri during the regular split, whereas the Akali only played twice by Care, but he has played it, and we know that this guy can play those assassins, hence the Yone game last time around. Shanji, though, goes for a Ken, or at least I assume that's a Kennen top.
Yeah, and something we didn't actually mention too much, you know, because we had energy champs buffed on this patch. Care got a little bit more energy on the W refund. But Kennen, they felt like he had enough energy, so they buffed his W cooldown, the damage, his ult AP ratio is up as well. We've already seen Kennen one shot before this patch, so it is pretty strong. Hopefully, you know, range against range, the top lane should match up fine and be really strong in team fights. But now, bear in mind, FPX haven't picked an AD carry. There's already 4 AD carries banned before this phase. Now it's 5 banned, 1 picked away. The pool is getting thinned heavily.
It really is. Obviously, Zeri and Civ are kind of the big two in terms of the scaling ones, with the Lucian and the Kalista taken off of the board. You've already got your Aphelios. What do you want to deny from Lwx? I mean, if you go classics, it's like the Vayne and the Kai'Sa, but neither of them really meta right now. So we'll see. If OMG even go for another AD carry ban, they could also just go for a ban in a different lane if they feel they've pinched the pool enough.
Yeah, I mean, they banned the Tom, so denying potentially Jinx Tom, but also Senna Tom. So really thinning that out. Just makes me interested. I mean, OMG are probably going to take a jungler on 4 and then leave counterpick. That means that it'd be very risky for FPX to take like Senna, Seraphine, or they could just take Nautilus, honestly, on 4. I wouldn't surprise to see OMG that with how much cold leans on the pick, but regardless, FPX, maybe they just ban it away here. They actually go for the Wukong from Aki, so choices are available. Do you prioritize the Nautilus here, or do you prefer to get counterpick? I feel like locking in the jungle would be the safe thing, but this is Cole's most played of the split. I'm not entirely surprised to see this locked in here.
This is Cole in a nutshell. And in game number 5, these are the picks that OMG will lean on. Now to the side of FPX. You've got a veteran AD carry, and Xayah may not be meta, but we've seen it plenty from Lwx over the years and hung with a Rakan. We knew hung for the hard engaged champions, for crazy engagers when he first entered the LPL, and you know he'll still be able to bring that to the forefront.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, a lot of power in that. And when you think about the fact there's a Nautilus, an Ahri, a Kennen, a lot of threat to the Xayah, it's a good pick for mitigating that. And we see Aki might just return to his old faithful. I feel like Xin Zhao has been the go-to for him. Even when he got nerfed a little bit, it's something he's lent on more than others. Obviously, serves pretty well as a front line against the Xayah, being able to mitigate that damage. But yeah, I mean, I feel like both teams, a lot of comfort across the board. I do think OMG, their team fighting is going to be pretty solid in this one. Like, I think it's a higher burden of execution for FPX, especially you're going up against the Aphelios, the Kennen, the Ahri as well. But I feel like all these games, it's been about the early game. And if FPX can find an early lead as well, I think they have enough power in the team fights to take this one.
They certainly have the tools, right, to find leads. That Xayah or Rakan can be incredibly aggressive in the 2v2. The Akali, if there are plenty of early game skirmishes, can just take over. We've seen that plenty of times. Creme knows that one better than anyone, being one of his own favorite picks. I like Shanji on the Kennen, though, is going to be a scary one for Summit. Summit finally getting that blind pick Gnar that we know him so much for, and yet has to go up against this Kennen, has to go up against the pick that he did so well on in the previous game.
And I feel like it's going to be really interesting when these teams clash, because we have the dive threats of FPX, something we've credited OMG as being really effective on, whereas OMG, it's more about that peeling backwards to defensive play, pretty big split in how they're going to perform. But I think jungle has been such a big focus for this series so far, and I expect it to continue here.
Absolutely. We're headed towards game number 5 here between OMG and FPX. and I've just heard thunder rumble outside. I kid you not, it's like prophetic fallacy. It's like we're watching the Battle of Helm's Deep. Theoden's there and the rain starts pouring. It's going to be a bloodbath between OMG and FPX as we head onto Summoner's Rift for one final time today. Both teams desperate to prove themselves, to get the monkey off of their back. Their recent histories have not been pretty, but they want to change that. They want to go on to face EDG.
What a sick shot that is, honestly. Yeah, next round. I think that's a crazy thing. Win round 1 of the playoffs. Next round, you're against the reigning world champion. So no pressure, but
yeah, in case anyone didn't know, LPL's kind of stacked. If that sentence alone just kind of says everything you need to know.
Just a tad. A big battle to go through the gauntlet, but we have seen teams do this before. We think back to summer 2021 when LNG made the run all the way from round 1. WE did as well. WE sadly didn't make Worlds in the end, but LNG did. It is possible. It has been done before, but that dream will die for one of these teams today after this game.
Clid playing really interestingly, waiting on the blast gun, doesn't want to be spotted at the red buff here. Is FPX going for a late ward onto that red buff? Obviously, Aki well aware of the situation, actually has a sweeper, so he'll clear that up, gets the 1 CS for himself as Clid starts on his Raptors. Crucially, Clid not actually spotted just yet, but will go for the sweep. But crucially, look at that ward. It's just like on the entrance to river, so the sweeper won't notice it.
Yeah, but what's crazy is there's actually 4 wards down level 1 for OMG. You don't normally see that many wards. You normally see like 1 or 2 at the entrances, and then they save wards for ganks. But like OMG are really set on not letting any sort of shenanigans come out in this one. Just ensuring that they have all their bases covered. And Paul got a little bit aggressive on the level 1. I feel like we've seen so many back-to-back fights between these bot lanes, constantly looking at challenge.
Yeah, I love it though. I absolutely love watching it. Like Cold and Hung, both like kind of known for just going in, right? Especially Hung, like his Leona, his Nautilus back last year, very much making a name for himself as an engaged support. Cold as well, though this Nautilus really has been the highlight pick for him. Hung moves in though to drop a ward onto the Scrump, onto the blue buff as well. See Cold moving on over to sweep that ward up. I'm not sure if it could see the blue buff or not here. Hard to say whether or not they have information on Aki.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely do. I think they saw him because they saw the blue buff move. I think it would from that range. I mean, regardless, you see Cold move over and clear it. You don't have full information of where he's going now. And actually, Aki doesn't do the Gromp. He starts to move for a gank. You'd expect him just to finish the Gromp here.
Look in the bottom side, Lwx the target, flashed away very early on. Calibrum, bit of extra damage from Abel. And you know what? You'll take that trade every single day of the week, right? Cold, a hook for a flash. He's over the moon.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that maybe we could have seen FPX more willing to fight it back, but as soon as Aki showed in the side bush, they're looking for a dive. This could be huge.
This could be massive. Cold just walks on forward. There's a hook onto Hung this time, but he gets a double knockup. What a turnaround from FPX! Cold is down. Abel falls flash. Aki the next target. His Care looks for more. Abel down. FPX! They're alive!
Care comes in with a TP and gets a double kill. Massive misplay from OMG. They go in with no plan to get out. The TP catches them off guard, and a double kill for Akali this early is devastation. Paul, the problem is, instead of walking up and like autoing and then being ready to queue out, he queues in, gets rooted fantastically by Lwx, and then even fails to flash to get out of tower range. And here, the fact that Care gets the double on the Akali, that's a disaster.
It really is. Aki goes down the double, as you say, double buffs as well. 2-0-0 for Care, and Creme probably headed his hands at this point, honestly, because that lane ain't getting any more fun, that's for sure. Shanji at least will be able to pull his wave. He'll be able to get a freeze. That's like the only silver lining that's going for OMG right now, because FPX, they finally brought the early game in game number 4 of the series, and now 1,000 gold up just 5 minutes in. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah, and this Akali can become such a massive problem so quickly with any early boost, any early lead. The fact he already has Hextech Alternator for that extra burst damage, like this might not just cause problems for the bot lane, this could also cause a lot of problems mid. If Care starts to move around, it could impact the jungle matchup. The knock-on effect could be huge. and FPX start to play a bit more aggressive. See Hungum using the mobility off the Rakan just to get a pretty deep ward and track Aki. Remember, as much as they don't know exactly when the Gromp was done because the ward was cleared, they have a rough idea. Now they've spotted him over that wall. Clid won't do anything with the information, but they have full knowledge on where this enemy jungler is.
I mean, they also know that Cold is playing defensively here. Aki drops a ward. Information traded, right? It's going to be a ward down, but ultimately, at least Aki knows where Clid is, knows that he's safe. Creme, though, not level 6 just yet, really wants that cannon, but might pay for it with his life here. Clid moves in, flash available, but the charm is gorgeous. And actually, Creme just walks away.
Yeah, really nice charm to stop Clid from being able to get the play. I thought that would be a flash situation. Yeah. The Creme confident. Oh, no.
Oh. The Shuriken doesn't land, though. Charm goes wide, but Care won't be able to find a solo kill here. I thought if that raised Shuriken, or Shuriken flip, sorry, lands onto Creme, maybe it's a kill here. Abel, big damage onto the enemy bot duo, but can't turn it into more.
I mean, I saw Care hit 6 and go in, and then only like a split second later realized...
Something messed it up. He ulted too early. He didn't hit his target. Shanji doesn't have the damage, though. That was so close. That would have been such a disaster for Summit if he'd gone down.
I just don't get time to talk. I'm going to be honest. This is just non-stop action throughout. And honestly, as much as we've had action-packed games, the early game has tended to be a little bit slower at times. Like, teams have applied pressure, but it hasn't been like flat-out action kills non-stop, but it feels like it is here. FPX are like, hey, we can do your dive better, and they're looking for it now.
They want to. Cold gonna just sit underneath the tower here, trying to defend, but able push back in. Clid using the flash there. Let's try and find the kill. It won't happen in the end as Cold just clearing the wave up for himself. Cold's over the moon. There's not many situations where a support gets this much CS.
Yeah, and as much as they don't get the kill, they deny a bit away from Abel. Abel's even scared to walk up here. I mean, they're just gonna go for Cold, honestly, at this point. Maybe overstaying a bit too much.
Oh, in trouble. Stunned against the wall. Knocked is there. Cleared. One more shot won't finish the job. Just another beautiful dive by FPX. Just another early game play by FPX. Just another notch in the butt of their gun at this point. As they're 2,000 gold up at 7 minutes. And OMG, it feels like their own game plan has been used against them.
And I mean, the Poppy is so... This is why she's such a threatening pick, and we see her first pick. Because obviously, she can shut down dashes, great. That's really effective on a lot of champions in the meta. But the reason she's first picked, she's blindable, is because these situations, you go into a side lane, and how can you play defensively when you... The most defensive position you could be in is against the tower, against the wall, which just means you're getting stunned, and you're going down. And you see them executing it so well here, and now... You actually see OMG have moved up to the top side for the Herald. And they actually are on the Herald first, so maybe you can set up a pick here, but I think Creme got spotted. If they can find a kill, they can just take the objective, but there's already so much vision in the area. FPX is surely going to contest this one.
And I don't think this is a fight OMG can win if it's a fair fight, and it will be. Here comes Hung with the quickness, knock up against the wall here. There goes the jungler, and now looking for more as Summit dives deep into the play. Creme with the Spirit Rush. Here comes Shanji. Oh, but he's not sailing. He's not flying. The Thunder goes back to the sky where it belongs. And another double for Care. OMG, this could not be going worse for him.
Oh, I mean, just such smart play from FPX. They make sure they have the numbers advantage. They corral them in. And then the ult from Clid. Shanji sees his hero moment, his big carry moment to get them back in the game. And he is denied. Fantastic from FPX. Now, they get the Herald. They have this 3,000 gold lead. 4-0 Akali. These are all, I mean, big issues for OMG.
This is terrifying for OMG. However... Clid is alone on the Herald, so it looks like he can't actually finish that one off for the time being. OMG moving up on the resets here for FPX. I think they will be able to grab this Herald for themselves. Aux, I feel like we need to talk a little bit about this FPX team as well, because it feels so good to see them being so aggressive, being so proactive, being so good in this early game after the year that they have had. Remember, last year, this roster, it was Nuggery up in the top lane, TN, doing beat Lwx Crisp, like all legends in their own right, going to the World Championship. And it has to be said, not having a good time of it at that tournament. The full rebuild around Lwx, and such a rough year around that rebuild until Summit came in, this split, and it feels like everything changed.
I mean, I feel like the two big additions for me was Care coming in for Gory, because Spring, was a struggle before Care came into the roster. But even then, that wasn't enough. Knocked down by EDG in playoffs, and now a chance to defeat OMG and face up against EDG again in summer with Summit assisted with a team. And you see here, he's the one who makes the first move. Shanji is late to the play. They're already a man down, and then, oh man, this is just the worst feeling ever.
Yeah, Shanji not able to do anything, and Care in the meantime grabbing a double kill. And you know, Clid, that is a hell of an ultimate, but I don't think you're looking at an MVP with the way that Care is playing this game. And man, the Yone in game number 4, Akali game number 5. This is a player that so often was on utility picks to set up the rest of his team. He started this series on Lissandra, and now changing the pace and making things happen. Summit in trouble though, as Abel's moved up cold, looking for a dive here on Summit. Aki with that Rift Herald. Summit forced to hop cold, finding a good CC chain. In comes Aki as well. Do they have the damage to actually finish this one off? I don't think they do. He'll walk away with his life, but still Herald will be placed on the top side. This will be a lot of gold for him.
Yeah, a lot of money if they can get it down, but FPX are quickly responding. I don't think they'll be able to get the whole tower here, because, I mean, you have to walk away from Care. Oh, if they knock the Herald!
Oh my god, it's only 2 plates. It's absolute disaster. Nothing is going right for OMG and FPX. Aki getting suffocated by Clid here. Everything Aki tries to do, Clid is there to deny it. And in the meantime, Lwx is getting all of the plates on the bottom side. 3v4 here, but the Herald goes down. And OMG can't finish the tower.
There's no way you can try and dive this as well. The Night Harvester on the Akali, you don't mess with that. Summit almost have a Mega as well. Summit's going to step up a bit aggressively. We'll see if they go for him here, but I think they're just scared of the Mega, so they won't. But look, FPX get the first tower. They deny the tower take on the side, and they're even looking for maybe a tier 2. Shanji, I think he'll be able to defend it, maybe? No, he doesn't feel confident. So yeah, 2 towers taken for FPX and Lwx. I mean, we talked about Care being massively fed, but now the Xayah is too.
And we talked about, you know, OMG needing to snowball, FPX needing to snowball. FPX basically said to OMG, look, this is how you do it. 12 minutes on the clock, and they have a 4,000 gold lead with the first Drake already in pocket and the second one on the map. Their bottom lane just took a tier 2. That's how much pressure there is on the bottom side. There's no universe OMG can contest the Drake.
Yeah, and we've seen the picture-in-picture. Creme ends up getting his ult burned just because Care walks up to him. And yeah, that's enough. That is literally enough at this point. Dragon secured. FPX so far ahead, and we'll see what the soul is, but I mean, I don't think any option's really good for OMG. It's gonna be a mountain soul, which, I mean, honestly, the extra bulkiness for Poppy and Gnar, the shield as well. I mean, there were no good options, let's be real, but FPX 4,000 gold ahead on a good pace for an early soul, and OMG struggling to find their way in.
Okay, but we've seen big comebacks in this series already, folks. We've seen OMG getting big leads and FPX coming back from the red side. Talk me through the game plan for OMG. Like, put yourself in the player's shoes. You're 3,000 gold down against this composition. What's the protocol? How do you play this out?
I honestly feel like you just need to buy yourself more time, because the item advantage, the gold advantage that FPX has now is a bit of an issue. I mean, you have limited time because of the dragon, but when it comes to the fights, you need to be finding like big value from your pick tools, like the Ahri, like the Nautilus, from the Kennen as well. And up until that point, just look to trade. Like, FPX are focusing on this top lane. You try and make a play on the bot lane for the tower there. Keep the gold as close as possible. And then when it comes to the fight, just try and out-execute. It's not exactly a great win con, but that's what you got.
It's what you're working with. It's what you're working with. And in the meantime, Lwx, you know, we're trying to trade on the bottom side here. You see Shanji pushing up, but Lwx, he already got 5 plates in the bottom side. Now, he'll finish. I think it was only 2. I don't think he quite got the 3rd plate, but he gets the tower anyway, so all of that local gold going to him. It's 6-0. And OMG got the Herald, so it's not a perfect game, but I mean, it's not far off right now for FPX. As Hung could be in trouble. He is Rakan, though. Lwx here as well. Shanji has TP'd into the play. Here we go. Big moment, but the quickness denies any follow-up, and Hung just walks it on out. Beautiful from the FPX bottom lane.
Oh, absolute disaster though for OMG, because that's just a tool committed, and now that teleport's not going to be available for the dragon fight. Kennen TP flanks is such a massive tool to utilize, and even not even talk about the dragon fight. If you're trying to make that pick play again, you're gonna have to wait before that's available. And it just feels like OMG, every time they try to make something happen, the bot lane dive, trying to aggress on the top lane to get the Herald down. It's been shut down. FPX put on a masterclass at just not giving anything over to their opposition and taking everything they want.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just like I keep using the word suffocating, but I feel like it's just such a good word to describe the way that FPX was playing. They figure out what OMG wants to do, and Clid gets there before them. Care roams on up and finds a way to make it happen. And you can see the man on the bottom of your screen here, Lwx, having an incredible game alongside Hung, right? This Xayah Rakan, after so many AD carries, will find out it was Lwx that was focused in the draft, but denying the dive early on, able to just move around the map and soak up so much gold. And you just know that Lwx is going to be a monster in the late game team fights, a proven entity here for FPX. He's the veteran of the squad. He's the man that this team was built around, and he's set up to be an absolute monster in the team fights.
Absolutely is. And you see OMG looking to posture around this. I don't think this is the fight you take, honestly. I feel like you wait for the dragon when it's a more important one, especially if you look, because of the mountain terrain, it's so hard to push into the river when you're stuck in that little choke. Against the Rakan, against the Xayah, that is death sentence. Trying to charm and care, but the damage isn't there to follow. Mid-tier 1. Oh, the
gravitum. Aki has to use his ultimate. Hung in the middle of everyone. Will go down. It's one for OMG. As in goes Shanji. Able there alongside him with a lot of shurikens. It's red and white. But Care in the middle of everyone. Huge damage on the Akali. Down goes Abel. Care take a bow.
Huge performance coming in from the FPX mid laner. The 4-0 Akali doubles it. And with that, hammers away the chances of OMG taking this game. They were posturing, they were ready, they even thought they could turn it around, but we look in this replay and the initial engage is a bit scrappy, right? The charm comes on a cat, doesn't really lead to much, and then here Hung maybe goes a bit over aggressive. The root comes in from Lwx and he gets locked up. It's back and forth, but it's the moment that comes after. Abel is ready to fight, stacked up with shurikens, but there's no tools left to deal with the Akali. Flies in, takes out one, decimates the other, and Abel gets slammed into the wall by Summit. And Care is there to clean up. The solo laners of FPX, perfect execution.
Literally from Care there, finishing the job. Beautiful stuff. And I mean, I'm just mind blown at how well Care is playing in this series. It felt like FPX were falling apart towards the start of the series, towards game number 3, when OMG went 2-1 up. It felt like they had FPX's number. But Care brings out the Yone in game number 4, and now the Akali in game number 5. And what a performance he is showing. He wants revenge against EDG. They knocked FPX out of playoffs last time around. Care wasn't there to stop them. This time he is, and this time he's ready.
And I mean, the fact he's 8-0, it's just like so ridiculous. Look at the scoreboard for FPX. He has so much gold, so many kills. And I mean, I feel like you have to devote so many resources to take him out. You're gonna have nothing left for the rest.
Oh, Lwx just goes in. Lwx just gale forces onto Abel. Revenge for the Sivir game. Lwx just demolishes a veteran AD carry on the other side, and now with the Herald, they go for the in-hip tower. Summit on the sideline, denying any kind of flank. The tower's so low with the TP coming through as well. I don't know. FPX might just try and end. Aki forced to use the Crescent Strike, but he's down as well. Now Summit with another kill on the board. Herald still alive here. It's going to get a charge onto Nexus Towers. FPX showing no signs of stopping. Under the towers they go. Cold trying to defend his team. He falls. Summit in the middle of everyone. Shanji with a big ulti, but it's not quite enough damage. 4 strong for FPX. Abel is here, but he's got no items. Creme moves in, but the charm goes wide. FPX can't end the game, but damn, they gave it a good shot.
The damage done is devastating, though. I mean, the fact they kept that push going, they get a Nexus Tower. OMG are limping at this point. And now FPX, it's a 9,000 gold lead. It's no longer about this Akali being fed. Everyone is strong on FPX. And OMG, 3 minutes 40 until that dragon. They don't have time. They don't have an opportunity to bring this back. And here, FPX, just the sheer confidence to keep going forwards. And the fact that OMG knocks Hung away and he hits Creme with the charm. But they just continue pushing forwards, keep using the Herald to get as much as they can. And the confidence, even when Shanji comes in with the ultimate, they're still able to turn things around.
Yeah, Care with Sonya's at the last second there. Shanji, so close to beautiful, right? If he just had a little more damage, if he hadn't got exhausted there, maybe that's the turnaround play. But now Creme caught out. Aki got a look of damage from Lwx. It's just an easy kill for FPX. They're on the cusp. Aux, they are on the cusp of making it in game number 5. Imagine going to 5 games. Imagine being 2-1 down and then coming into game number 5 and having this kind of a performance. What a way for FPX to not only enter playoffs, but to outdo their previous playoffs run as well. In spring, they got knocked out after 1 win in the first round. Now they are looking to make it to round 2.
And I feel like the fact that Care got the MVP for last game and is having such a pop-off performance here. He is the least experienced player on this roster. And honestly, they've been focused on denying this Ahri away from game after game, and he hasn't needed it. He hasn't needed it at all. And the fact that he's against Creme of all players, playing his signature pick and delivering such a performance, and now FPX, they have the Baron. They're going to continue this push. I don't see a way in for OMG, but I'm certain they're going to try.
Gotta try. And I will say, on the point of Care as well, like, what a rookie year from this player as well. Against players like Creme, Aki, Shanji, who've all had amazing rookie years over the last 2 years. Feels like this is the moment. And you see a white flag coming up from OMG. They know how one-sided this is. They know that it's close to curtains as Summit hammers away on the bottom inhib as well. Redemption for so many players on this FPX squad. And I'm sure a very satisfying place to be for Lwx after, you know, how the roster kind of fell apart back in 2021, or back at the end of 2021. He was the only one to stay. And it feels like maybe the experiment with these players coming in has worked out. OMG trying to defend on the top side though. Cole goes in. You just see the keeper's verdict channeled indefinitely. This is going to be 3 inhibs.
Yeah, I mean, OMG have to go for the fight now. If they let them get the inhibs and back off, they could get soul. They might even just end now. You have to go.
Summit is about to turn Mega Gnar, and everyone's grouped up. That's scary. Aki with the Crescent Strike keeps himself alive here. Quickness, though. Double knock up on the backside. And look at them fall. It's more for the birds on the team. It's more for FPX as the Phoenix comes out on top once more. They were 2-1 down, but the early aggression comes back. And FPX put their foot down to face.
To be able to take this series, but credit to them, you know, making it to playoffs after they failed to do so in spring, still huge. But FPX, I feel like something I was saying after game 1 was I felt like they'd leveled up since the regular season, and I think that holds true. They're not flawless, right? There's definitely some things that they need to show up on, especially looking towards the next series. But the fact that, you know, they were able to come back into games when they had a deficit, they're able to keep challenging, something they've really floundered on. I feel like, you know, we even had the stat at the start of the day that they'd never won a game when they'd been at a deficit of 15. That is no longer true, right? They managed to bring back that game 1. And I think their mid game, their late game had improved, and then they still showed what they could do in the early game in game 4 and 5.
Yeah, I think the player interviews saying we're not going to lose a game in playoffs was maybe slightly overzealous, but
ambitious.
Definitely you can tell the level at which this team has improved for playoffs, right? The fact that we did still see these aggressive early game wins, like game number 5, dominating in just over 20 minutes is completely insane. But then, you know, we also saw the slower games, right? We also saw the comebacks. We saw them playing for the late game and managing to make that work, especially in game number 1 of the series. So feels like a positive for FPX that they have more tools in their arsenal moving forward in playoffs than I expected them to. And now against EDG, honestly, I think EDG might be a little nervous going into this series, honestly, because this FPX squad looks real scary.
And to be real, right, EDG have some fantastic players, but they have not looked like a fantastic team this year. They are not like in the same form as when they won the World Championship. I expect that one to be a fight, right? I don't think there's enough of a gap right now. And as I said, FPX leveled up for this series. No reason to suggest they can't level up against EDG as well. And this game was just textbook domination from start to finish. It felt like they found the early momentum. They continued along. And, you know, I feel like we've had these games that felt a bit one-sided in this series, but there was always that sort of moment where the other team put up a fight, looked like, okay, there's a chance, and then maybe the team still ended up winning. There wasn't any of that in this. This was just FPX domination.
And I just want to quickly shout out Hung as well. 100% kill participation.